Hi guys, it's Miss Porter bringing you virtual learning assignment number 6, week 6, part 2 of the OpArt series. So, you guys have learned about 4 famous artists: Victor Vasarely, Bridget Riley, Frank Stella, Jesus Soto. And your assignment this week is to actually create your own OpArt. So, last week you studied and learned about the technique when it came around, which was 1960-ish. It kind of faded out around the end of 1960, like 68 or something. You learn that it is in textiles or clothing. Even in my sweater, you'll see lines that kind of look like optical illusion. And the purpose of op art is to play tricks on your eyes. So op art stands for optical art, optical illusion art. All right. So there are going to be 2 choices for you to do 4th and 5th grade. One of which you see, and it kind of looks like balls jumping off the paper. So we'll put this one here. And this is your second option. All right, now it does show color, but if you don't have color, you can always do black and white. So we're going to start with this one first. I'm going to draw a rectangle. That rectangle is going to represent my paper. Remember in class, I always drew a rectangle. This one is kind of on the the landscape layout. It doesn't matter which way you turn your paper, but I'm going to draw this way so that we have space. So this is my paper. Do not draw a rectangle. Okay, so if you have paper, do not draw a rectangle on your paper. This is my paper. What you're now going to do, you're going to draw 2 circles. If you need to use something so that you don't mess up and you want a perfect circle, like you can use the bottom of a top or a cap or something, and you're just going to trace around that one circle. If you don't have anything and you just want to freehand draw it, that's fine too. So that's one circle. This is going to be my other circle. It doesn't matter if the circles are really big or small. I did one small and one big one. All right? I just don't want itty bitty teeny tiny circles. Nothing that small. I need them to be big enough where you can do the optical illusion art on the actual circle. The next thing you're going to do, so step 1, you draw your circles. You draw 2 of them. If you want to draw a third one, that's up to you, but I'm only showing you how to do the 2. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to draw horizontal lines across your paper. But you are not going to draw on top of your circles. So I'll start here. Again, if you don't have a ruler, just draw freehand. Try to make them as straight as possible. I'm now overlapping my ruler on top of where my circle is. So watch. I'm going to draw from the edge of my circle over to my paper. I do not draw on top of my circle. And I'm going to repeat that until I get to the bottom of my paper. All right? Now I'm past my circles, and I'm just going to draw one more right here. All right? So now I have my horizontal my horizontal lines. I just wanted that to look a little bit more straight. Now, next step is going to be to draw vertical lines. You can take your ruler and go all the way across. For time's sake, I'm just going to kind of freehand draw mine. When I get to my circle, I stop. So now we have something that kind of looks like a checkerboard. All right? Step number 4. You are now going to do something very similar on your circles. I'm going to show you 2 different ways. You're going to draw curved lines on your ball. All right? So, here is an intersecting point, and here is one. So I'm going to draw a curved line from one line over to the other. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Curved line from one side to the other. I'm now going to draw one across the center of my ball. I'm not going outside my ball. Now it kind of looks like a basketball, right? I'm going to do the same thing going vertical. Now my lines are a little bit off because I drew them freehand, but if I had drawn them with a ruler, I would probably have one that intersects about right here. So I'm going to go curve from one end, curve to the other, and I'm going to draw a straight one down the middle. That makes it look like that ball is jumping off that paper. Now in here I have extra space, so if I want, I can do another curve right here and another curve right here. You're going to do the same exact thing on this ball, but we're going to do that one a little bit different so that you don't have so many small ones. We're going to do one straight across and one above, one below. One straight down the middle, one to the left, one to the right. So here you only have 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4, 16 sections. So that's a little bit of math incorporated. So 4 times 4, 16. Here we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times 4 is 24. So we have 24 segments there. Your basic structure for your first OpArt option is done. To make it actually look like those balls are jumping off the page, you need to go in with one color. I chose black and white. If you wanted to do blue and red, you could do blue and red. All right? And what you do is you color in every other. So I would color that one, and I'm doing this kind of quick, but I want you to color all the way in so that it looks like a finished work of art. My first row is done. I come to this row. I can't have black touch black, so this has to stay white. I skip and go to the next one. Notice it's white, black, white, black. White. This next one would be black. We're not coloring anything on the balls yet. White, black. Skip, come down. That can't be white. It's got to be black because that's white. White, that's going to be black. Notice I'm doing every other. That stays white, so this one becomes black. White. Jump down, that's white. This one has to be black. This one, black, white, black. So we can't have two squares that are the same color touching. That's white. This becomes black. White, black. I come here. Both of those are white. This one can't be white. It's got to be black. White, black. White. And you just keep following that pattern until you get to the end of your paper or the bottom. All right, and we are done with that part. All right, so step 5 was to color alternate blocks. And again, if you were using actual colors, you could have alternated the colors. Black, red, black, red. I'm just sticking with black and white for ease for you guys, okay? All right. Now we want to go and do the same thing on the ball. So we'll start with this ball first. I'm going to color this one. Hold on. I'm going to color this one black because it is right here next to it. And some of them are going to touch, and that's okay. But I'm going to do black, white, black, white, black. That one stays white. I jump down, white, black. So the same thing you did on your background, you do on your actual object that's there, which in this case is a circle, which has become a sphere or a ball. And when we talked about on our homework assignment what elements of art are most used with OpArt, we know that we use lines, we use shape, color, even form here, and we use space. So all of those are the different elements of art that typically are used with optical illusions. On this one, I'll show you value, so we may as well add value to that list, which are all of the elements of art. All right? So next, we're going to go back over to this one. I'm going to start black, white, black, white. Come down, that's white. So you kind of get the idea, but you have to pay attention to what you're doing, because if you don't, you will definitely make a mistake. And you'll get frustrated and ball the paper up and say, I messed up, I want to start over. All right, just like in anything in art, if you want to make it jump or stand out more, you can always add a thicker line around it, just around the two circles. And that kind of gives it a shadow. And we are done with this first one. All right. I'm going to leave it on the board so that you can always reference back to it in this video. If you want to try to do both, feel free to do so. I'm going to move on to this one. All right. Again, I'm going to draw my paper. This is my sheet of paper. What we're going to do, I want to show you, all I did was drew lines. The number of lines I have on this one. Yours will be possibly different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I drew 22 lines. So the point that I want you to focus on is making sure that you have an even number of lines. Even number of lines. So again, we can use our ruler or you can draw freehand. I'm going to start with a dot in the center of my paper. This is similar to what we learned about when we learned about perspective. Remember when we drew, made it look like a street was there and trees? It's the same concept. 1 point perspective. That's our point, focal point, or point of no return, vanishing point. All right? So the very first step in this one is to draw your vanishing point. In the center of the paper. We are now, step 2, going to draw an even number of lines equally around that point. So, this is going to be line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 lines around my vanishing point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, anytime you want something to look curved, you always draw a curved line. So if I was drawing a cup, the top and bottom of my cup are curved. Or I could just simply draw lines that are curved. And let's say I drew, what is that? That's Dr. Seuss's hat. All right. So here we are going to draw curved lines in opposite directions. So I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to alternate colors so that you can actually see what's happening. So my first one, I'm going to do green. I'm humping over, 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 over. All right? I'm going to continue with my green on every other section. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 curves. Let me take the camera a little bit closer so you can see that. That's what I'm doing on every other one. I'll bring it back closer in just a second. All right. So I'm going to skip this one and I'm going to curve over, over, 3, 4, 5, 6. I skip this one, come to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have space for one more down here. Some of them may be a little bit longer, and that's fine. Skip this one, come to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I'm going to erase that one and redo it. Skip this one, come to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me zoom in so you can see up close what that looks like. I'm now going to use a different color. So I'm going to switch and use, I think I'll just use black. I'll make this black and green. In between, we have to go the opposite way. So if the green ones, for example, are hooped or bumped over, the black ones have to do the opposite. They are upside down. So in between here, I'm going to, they look like the letter U's. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could do a 6th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These look like they're more like 5 instead of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that one's 6, 7. So again, it depends upon the length and width of your sections. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 in that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So already, without adding any color, you can see how it looks like those lines are moving or going into and out of the paper or the board. Kind of looks a little bit like a spider web. All right, so step 3 was to draw arcs or curved lines in each section. Step 4 is going to be to color in every other, so alternating colors. So alternate coloring every other section. Now this is a little bit different than what we did here, similar but a little bit different. So I'm going back to my green. I'm going to color green. Now on mine, it kind of looks shiny because I used dark orange, light orange, kind of did some light coloring in between. I pressed down hard with the blue, then a little softer with it. So that's where those values come in, where you get different lightness and darkness of a color or a hue. All right, so on my green, I'll start on the outside. So I'm coloring, I color, press down pretty hard on the edges, and then maybe go lighter in the middle. It's kind of hard to show that shininess on the board, but all I'm doing is coloring every other. All right, I do the same exact thing on all of my green ones. Every other. So white, green, white, green. All right. Since I started on the outside, I can either start on the outside or go to the inside. But usually I try to stick with, if I started on the outside, do the outside. But on this particular one, it's a little bit more forgiving. Just make sure that you alternate. And again, you can color in with crayons, pencils, color pencils, marker, whatever you have. If you don't have anything but ink pens, you can use ink pens. And if you have nothing but a pencil, this whole picture can be done just using your grayscale pencil. You just shade in with those colors or with that pencil. And if I wanted to do this just green and white, on here I could just keep going with the green, but I'm going to switch colors and go back to my black. So all of my green sections are done. I'm going to switch and go to my black. Every other is going to be what I color in with my black. Now, I don't want white, white and white, or white and I want to have my colors go every other. So here, I'm going to put black. Skip, black. So side by side is two different colors. And that's what gives you that motion or that movement and rhythm in your picture. And again, just like on the other one, you have to slow down just a little bit to pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure that you are intentionally putting those colors where you want them to be. Let's see how I want to do this one. There we go. And we are all finished. So let me bring that closer so that you can see those colors. The thinner your sections, the more movement you see in some cases. But that's pretty much what your assignment was. You can do either or like I said, if you want to try both, please send me both. I would love to see what you were able to do. And we are done for today. So in closing, I just wanted to remind you of the 4 artists, visual artists who did the OpArt back in the day. There were several more. There are even people now who have become famous for their style of OpArt. You use line, shapes, color, value, form, space, all of the elements of art and some of the principles of art. And at the end of the day, have fun, enjoy yourself, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, guys.